Good afternoon or evening, traders and investors. It's Will here with another one. Kind of the second time I'm filming this video. I was muted the first time, so F's in the chat for that. So today we have benefited from a more broad market rally, guys. Really happy to see that because technology has been kind of leading the way, and I was looking for the rest of the sectors to kind of participate in a rally if we were to see SPY break towards new highs as QQQ has. So we got a few risks taken off the table now. The debt ceiling crisis seems to be resolving itself, as it usually does for the past 10 years. This always happens every single year. And we basically kick the can down the road and everything seems to be fine within the last week of things, which is kind of the case this time as well. So not too surprised there. So before getting into some charts, guys, I wanted to show you the importance of broad market rallies. So if we're looking at yesterday's performance, look at this, guys. So this is yesterday. As you can see, as has been the case several times over the last month, we only had the market being upheld by literally 4 or 5 stocks. Apple and Meta were flat, but as you can see, most of the heavy lifting was done yesterday by Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, and Amazon. NASDAQ was green yesterday. SPY was entirely red. The market breadth was terrible yesterday. So I was really concerned yesterday as of what would be the implications from that. So I actually opened a few shorts midday yesterday because I really did not like what I was seeing. And I got stopped out of those this morning for a small loss because we had some more broad market participation and I really liked what I saw. So I was trying to hedge myself to the downside, but did not work out as we pushed higher on a broad market basis. And when I see all of our sectors pushing higher at the same time, I know the move is real. So compare that, guys, with the move we had today, right? So this was the move today. Sorry, I was on the 1 month. So as you can see, guys, if I kind of hide myself, right, or kind of make this smaller, you can see that we finally had some broad market participation. And if we look back here, I want to show you guys how crazy this has been here in the last month. So if we look at our one-day performance, you can see that almost all major sectors have been pushing higher with the exception of defensives and utilities. On the 1 week, though, as you can see, communication services, technology still are leaders. Financials are finally green, but prior to today, all of these were red except for technology and consumer communication services here. On the 1 month is the same. Everything is red except for tech and communication services. What are our main communication services brands, guys? Well, they're Google and Meta. So as you can see, these guys represent the biggest weight in that whole category, and they've been leading the way. If you look at this on the 1 month performance, as a matter of fact, it's kind of similar. Look at this, guys. This is not broad market participation. This is literally only a few big tech names holding up the entire market. So at a certain point, that's not sustainable. So you need to see the broad market participate, which is what we had today. Hopefully today will be an indication of that leading into the future, because we're going to need more of that if you want to see SPY push the higher levels and lead towards the 4,200 level and 4,300 respectively. So doing a good job today. My time frame that I'm looking out for on SPY will now be let me get my trusty little brush here. So time frame I'm looking out for, guys, is undoubtedly going to be the 4-hour time frame. We did a good job of pushing above this yellow line resistance zone here. And as you can see, we pushed through it in a convincing fashion. I'm going to be looking for a retest of this area if we do top out here to confirm a 4-hour new uptrend. Or as soon as this move tops out, I'm looking for the same thing. Now we've created a lot of space so that the most likely scenario becomes a higher low compared to our low down here at 409. So tons and tons of space for bulls to confirm that move. If we do confirm that move, that would lead me to believe that the daily trend will also be kind of confirmed. Our low is the same on the daily, 409, 410 area. Anything above that will be a daily higher low. You need to see bulls push above our most recent resistance areas up here. And in my opinion, they will only do that if the broad market continues to participate. So financials and healthcare, the two other largest components of SPY, have been sidelined until pretty much today. And only today have we seen them participate. So we need to see them continue to participate if we want to see that target reached here upwards to our 417 and potentially higher after that into our 420 to 430 range that everybody's looking out for. So that's what I'm looking out for on SPY. We'll break it down sector by sector. Technology, as you can see, our rising wedge has now broken to the upside. This is now this is traditionally, guys, a bearish pattern. The longer time frame that this is on, as you can see, this is a daily rising wedge. So the higher the time frame, the more likelihood that the pattern has to play out. So I was fully expecting this pattern to potentially top out here, especially with yesterday's very poor market breadth. I was expecting this to top out here and come down lower, which is why I put my short hedges on. But I was proved wrong this morning when technology completely took over, led the way to the upside, and every other industry pretty much followed. So rising wedge now cracked to the upside. Further targets to the upside now remain. The higher end here, around 334, is going to be our last level of resistance before tapping into our higher levels here. So very, very, very important level here, denoted by my yellow line. That will be the area of contention that I'm looking for. Now, bulls have now confirmed a weekly uptrend. It's now been a few weeks, actually, that we've confirmed this weekly uptrend, but this week actually proves it even further, in my opinion here. As you can see, bulls are in control of the weekly time frame. We are also in control of the daily time frame. Anything above at this point 325, in my opinion, 324 will be a daily higher low for continuation higher. Obviously, what we would want to see is potentially come and sit down on this channel and continue the 4-hour uptrend. 4-hour time frame slightly overbought here on the upside. So any consolidation down will be for a 4-hour higher low above this area here, right? Anything above, like I was saying, on the daily, it's 325. On the 4-hour, it's slightly higher here above at 327. Anything above that is a higher low. Bulls are in full control of these time frames. Now, moving on to the Russell 2000, putting in some very good work, guys. I'm very happy because what I was saying is finally playing out. What we were looking for a weekly higher low compared to this guy down here, which was roughly 167, 168. We got it not that much higher, around 169, but it is a higher low. So now we're looking, can the bulls confirm a new weekly uptrend, the first weekly uptrend since this guy right here, right? So looking forward to that, guys. Bullish move, engulfing candle. We're now toying with this resistance area here, 175, 176, getting over it. You want to see the bulls continue to push into this zone here, higher 170s, 178, 179. So you need to see bulls push higher for that. It's good because this sector is actually lagging behind the rest of our indexes. We're now pushing above our daily moving averages, close above our moving averages for the first time pretty much in a month. So very, very bullish for continuation, in my opinion, with a candle like this, a close above the moving averages. We need to see the bulls confirm our daily trend change, which would then lead us to believe that a weekly trend change is potentially on the table. So looking forward for that. I will be looking out for some names on the small cap side here. And obviously this move was largely led by our regional banks putting in a massive day, 7.36%. And as you know, financials, especially small cap financial stocks, and even a few slightly mid cap stocks, are 25% of the Russell's weighting. So they had a big part to play. So as banking headlines, dwindle, as we get less and less risk involved with the banking sector, I believe that IWM has a good chance to run and play catch up here. So this is one of my really good picks here. Been capturing some really good premium in the lower levels for the past few weeks, as I've been saying on the channel. So now at this point, it's time to let them run. I will now be trying to write anything 172, 173 and kind of trailing this market upside. Don't have any long shares. I'm kind of trailing with options because I do believe we have a good chance to reverse the weekly time frame as well to the upside. Financials themselves doing exactly what we wanted to see as well. What we're looking for in the past few weeks on the channel, we were looking for a weekly higher low. Now, I strongly believe that at this point, with a nice move like this, we've created enough space that our most likely scenario is that this is our higher low, 31.3 compared to our low down here of 30.5. So very possible that the bulls use this as an opportunity to set a new weekly uptrend. That is what I'm looking for. The daily uptrend is now all but confirmed. If we can crack above here, this 3260-ish level, if we can, this would be a daily confirmed uptrend our first pretty much in well over a month, right? So looking forward to that. We're now closing above the moving averages as well. So looking for further continuation. If we don't get any more negative headlines, guys, it would not surprise me if this trend does continue to the upside. I am looking for 4 hour to confirm the 4 hour uptrend, right? Because now this is the first time that we've broken out. We were in a 4 hour downtrend, as you can see. So looking for the 4 hour to cascade into potentially a daily further move to the upside. And then we're looking for a daily trend continuation into the weekly. So one time frame at a time. Healthcare. We've been talking about this weekly bear flag now for 5 weeks in a row. They had a lot of space to do it above pretty much 124. Anything above the 124 level was going to be a weekly high or low. So as you can see, guys, we did a great job today. What happened today? We had a massive doji. This created on the 4 hour time frame, big demand zone. So now it's going to be very hard for the bears to recapture that area. What I'm looking for at this point is I'm looking for the 4 hour trend change. This has been a 4 hour downtrend this whole time. I'm looking for bulls now. So much space has been created off the bottom here that I want to see a 4 hour higher low off of our low here, 129.5 pretty much, to then after they've confirmed the 4 hour trend change, then I will be looking for a daily trend change. And if we get that, it leads me to believe that our weekly bull flag will turn into weekly trend continuation. So if we get participation from healthcare and financials, guys, well, in my opinion, would not be surprising to me if SPY can finally break our range here and join our technology brothers in the move to the upside. So very important. Now, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin doing a very good job recently of holding its current of rather holding the lows here. As you can see, this yellow line pretty much was the lower end of our range, our 2-month range at this point, right? And what did we get? We got a bear break of support with no follow through. So they were not able to close a daily candle below that. In my opinion, that's very good work done by the bulls. And this chart is slightly messy now. However, we are potentially working on a daily trend change. It's not that obvious from here, but if you zoom in on the 4 hour time frame, you will see what did we try to do when the 4 hour trend was lost to the downside. Well, we were just looking on the daily for a higher low above our flush here, 25.8, and we did get it, right? So if we zoom out here on the daily time frame, you'll see that this potentially is shaping up to be a daily trend change to the upside, which at that point, if it is, it will potentially be a signal for this weekly bull flag to confirm. As you can see, we have not closed the weekly below our 12 EMA. We're sitting on it. It is still a weekly bull flag, a very long and painful weekly bull flag, but bulls on the weekly are still in control. We've created so much space that it didn't surprise me that we came down a bunch pretty much since our massive rally here. So we're looking, the time frame for me is the 4 hour time frame. As you can see, this was our most recent 4 hour downtrend. We've started to try and reverse it now. That's step number 1, create enough space off the bottom. Step number 2 is to confirm. If we can get that done, I will be looking at the high at the daily for further continuation and potentially for our weekly bull flag to then push us higher into the next levels. But 4 hour time frame is key. Going to be watching very closely, guys. Now, let's get into a few tech stocks, right? So Apple, what I wanted to talk about with tech stocks, guys, is I'll go over the major ones briefly, right? So as you can see, the ones that have been pushing in the past, I would say 2-3 weeks, right? Prior to the past 2 weeks have been Apple, right? Microsoft, this massive move up here. And we also had Meta, right? Meta also is doing a great job. But since earnings, as you can see, Meta has been flat, Apple has been flat, and Microsoft, other than today, also has been kind of relatively stuck in this range. Now, what has taken over since these 3 names have been stuck in the range? Amazon and Google. The 2 things that were kept in their range before, right? Google and Amazon have now broken to the upside. So we have some intra-sector rotation. And you love to see that, guys. When certain names get extended, like Apple and Microsoft, to the upside, it's good that we see our other big two names, Amazon and Google, which have been lagging, take over to the upside while these guys take a breather. So Apple, not too much to say here. This chart kind of looks like Nvidia, right? Just continuously pushing in the upside. So Apple, levels to be watching out for is still 175, 176. And after that's going to be our next level of resistance. Bulls are in full control, full control. We're just looking for our weekly high or low, pretty much compared to 163-ish. So anything above 163 is a weekly high or low. We may be setting it now on the daily time frame. As you can see, it's looking like it's a daily bull flag. We don't want to give back too much of this earnings, despite bears trying. They're not getting the follow through that they need. And now we've just been waiting pretty much for this 12 EMA to catch up, and we refuse to close below it. So bulls are in full control. Areas, in my opinion, to watch out for is on the weekly, 165 to 163 area. Very important to hold that to keep the weekly trend intact. On the daily time frame, this pretty much the exact same levels here, right? Pretty much the exact same levels we're basing it off of. So bulls are in absolute complete control to the upside. And I'm not looking for longs potentially here on Apple personally. Congratulations if you're in the stock and holding. But starting a position up here for me is very difficult. Not the type of trade that I want. Now, Microsoft, bulls are in absolute full control of Microsoft as well. As you can see, so much space above 275 to set the weekly high or low, right? And we didn't even dip at all. As you can see, we kind of did a sideways weekly bull flag and now pushing through the top again. So not only are we in control of the weekly, we're in full control of the daily. As you can see, daily uptrend has been maintained at this point. We almost lost it, almost running close to losing it, excuse me, pushing towards the high now. So where do we look? Our targets now become on Microsoft. Our last line of defense, we're pretty much at it. 315.75. Beyond that, not a lot of resistance all the way up to 336, 335. So looking out for that on Microsoft. As long as bulls keep in full control, grinding this 12 EMA higher, I can't really be looking for an opportunity for a short on this stock. Kind of the same situation as Apple. Bulls control most, if not all, time frames. So at this point, the 4-hour time frame is my guide. Like on Apple, I'm just looking for bulls to maybe lose the 4-hour time frame, which would send us potentially into some consolidation. But every time we've tried to consolidate, bulls have not wanted to have a single minute of it. As you can see, pushing higher. So bulls in absolute full control. Same situation as Apple for me. Cannot buy this stock up here. I would rather wait for a weekly consolidation move. If ever we get it, don't know where that's going to be, but that's just the way I trade personally. Congratulations to any bulls in that. Meta, looking at Meta, same situation, right? Meta, what we're trying to do here is we've now set the weekly high or low, right? Anything above at this point, 230 is a weekly high or low, in my opinion. So bulls are in absolute full control of the weekly time frame, daily time frame as well, right? We never lost the daily. Never lost the daily time frame. All of this is kind of the same move. All of this sideways action, right? Some people can say, well, we lost it here. I don't think that's the case, guys, because we never really lost the lows, right? So this is still in pretty much a daily uptrend. It's grinding, but it is a weekly and daily uptrend. As long as we don't lose the 12 EMA, still in a daily and weekly uptrend. Resistance levels to the upside. Now we're kind of playing in the flyer zone, right? So now we don't have much resistance here because if we go back on the daily, that's the gap, right? That's the gap. So the last area here is about 247, but anything above that is going to be gap filled territory. So Meta, very bullish, can't say too much. Just like Apple and Microsoft in this occasion, right? The 4-hour remains my guide. If we lose the 4-hour time frame in a significant fashion, I then look up to the daily to see if we can lose the daily. But in my opinion, anything over about 231 is simply a daily high or low. Congratulations to Meta bulls. Bulls are in full control. Can't look to short it just yet, in my opinion here. Amazon bulls, full control, same thing. All of big tech is just full bull control right now, guys. It's crazy, right? Love to see it. Love to see it. Now, Amazon, next level of resistance will be up here at our 121, 120 area. We've passed this guy right here, which was our last area, 114-ish. We're now closed above it. And as you can see, guys, bulls have done a great job after we've come out here, right? We've done a great job of confirming the continuation of our weekly uptrend, created a lot of space. So anything above 102-ish is going to be a weekly higher low. On the daily, anything above 109 is going to be a daily higher low. So tons of space for the bulls. They could pull an Apple, Microsoft, Meta and just hover around here until the 12 EMA catches up. Would not surprise me, right? So much space has been created since this last move that you have to expect that any dips would remain for buying until we can reverse potentially a daily time frame to the downside, but no evidence of that just yet. So Amazon, still interested in Amazon. If we do pull back, I will be trying to write puts below 110 around these moving averages for me personally. Upside targets, like I mentioned again, will be 120, 121 area. Now, Google, great job by the bulls again. Finally able to crack above our resistance ever since that AI day. They've just done wonders. If you guys haven't tuned into that, I highly suggest that you watch Google's AI presentation of last week. It was a very nice presentation, lots of good facts and lots of guidance for where Google wants to bring its business in the future. So I've been very lucky writing a lot of premium in this area, guys, over the last few weeks, but now the stock is kind of running away from us. Good thing I do have some Google long shares in my long-term portfolio. Area of resistance here coming up on it, 123. And after that, we're looking a lot higher, guys, into the 130s. So very, very important level up here at 123. We're almost up there with the wind at our backs at this point. Tons of space on the weekly. Anything above 106 pretty much is just a weekly higher low. You know, this thing could also do exactly what Microsoft and Apple did. Just kind of hesitate around here, bull flag around until the 12 EMA kind of catches up. And that would not surprise me at all. Anything above 116 at this point will be just a daily higher low. So congratulations to the bulls. Upside targets, I gave them to you. Downside, anything above 116 is a higher low. Personally, if we do start to retrace a little bit, wait for this moving average, I would not be opposed to writing puts around our massive, massive support level now, which is down here. If I can get decent enough premium. But you guys know Google is such a solid stock. It's rare that you can get premium that far down. So I have to wait for it to come down a little bit for me personally, in my opinion. If you don't have any long shares, well, just keep in mind that Google is one of our lagging tech bulls, still down 20% off all-time highs, just like Amazon, still down roughly 38% off all-time highs when you compare them to Microsoft or Apple. Still a good deal. Even Meta, guys, it's run a lot, right? But we're still 36% off all-time highs, right? So still some discounted plays here to potentially be had. Nvidia and what can I say about Nvidia, guys? Nvidia is a monster, right? Monster company. I'm very lucky that I did end up picking up some shares, not towards the bottom. I picked them up in the 130s. 130. So, it's bottom area, but nowhere close to the actual bottom of 110. But I'm very happy with this company. Have not sold a single share since I bought them because I do believe in their plan long term. We're going to be needing more and more semiconductors and more chips over the next 5 to 10 years. So it's no surprise that Nvidia is an industry leader in this capacity. I've been watching this rising wedge for the past 3 weeks. I've been saying on the channel, guys, that it's very tough to short this company without a daily trend change confirmation. They only were able to try for a daily downtrend once. And what happened? Bear break with no follow through. Bear break with no follow through. Not once have they actually lost the daily time frame, right? They lost it here. What happened? Nothing. Could not break this area, and it really turned into pretty much a weekly bull flag on the higher time frame, pushed higher. Try to do it again. Could not happen, pushed higher. So as long as the bulls are in full control here and we're not making lower lows, right? It's very tough for me to find a position to short this stock in. Nvidia, next area of resistance now comes into the 305 range, which is crazy for me to even say. 305 to 310 will be our resistance here. It's a resistance that's almost at this point, over a year and a half old, right? So on the daily, looking for continuation. Anything above 282 at this point will just be a daily higher low, right? And when you're so high, guys, you need to look at the lower time frames, right? When you're so high, the 4-hour time frame is my guide. So as long as we hold the 4-hour to the upside, we're not looking for daily bulls to lose this trend at all. So congratulations to NVIDIA bulls. Once again, this is not a stock that I can buy up here or start new positions up here. That's just the way I trade, not meant to say how you trade whatsoever. But NVIDIA, just not a stock that I can trade up here to the long side and even to the short side at this point for me either. No areas for a short entry. Tesla. So Tesla, I really like Tesla, guys. I really like Tesla. What have we been looking for after earnings? We've been looking for sellers to get exhausted to the downside and potentially set up for a weekly trend change. I believe that is a possibility of happening right now, right? So what happened is bulls have been in control of the daily time frame so far. We almost lost it coming into yesterday and today. I mean, on a technical basis, you could say that we did pretty much lose it. But if you zoom in, guys, we were never able to close a 4-hour candle below this area of resistance. Bears were just not able to take it. Why? Because 165 is a very big area. Look, if I put a yellow line in this area, look how many times it acted as resistance. Now, look how many times it's kind of acting as a general area of support. So the time frame for me is the 4-hour trend on Tesla. What I need to see is I need to see a 4-hour confirmed uptrend, which will then lead me to look higher. If we do get our 4-hour trend change confirmed, then what that'll do is if I come up to the daily here, is it'll give us so much space off of our 165 low that the most likely scenario will be a lower high, potentially for trend continuation. So that's what I'm looking out for on Tesla. I'm looking for a 4-hour trend change, whether it happens here or whether we push up higher and it happens here. This would be the better case scenario because we'd be sitting on this guy for support. But wherever it happens, I'm looking for bulls to confirm a 4-hour trend change at this point, to confirm it in a solid fashion, which would then lead me higher onto the daily, which could lead us into our higher resistance areas around 180, which is where we failed previously last week after the good bullish news that they were replacing the Twitter CEO. And as a matter of fact, few things to note. If you guys haven't looked at the shareholder presentation yesterday for Tesla, highly recommend, if you're not a shareholder and interested in being a shareholder, or if you are a shareholder, highly recommend watching it. Elon gave us a lot of good information yesterday that not a lot of people were aware of. Number one, very important, Meet Kevin suggested that Elon should do some advertising, and Elon on stage agreed, and people were applauding and cheering afterwards. He agreed to do some advertising to show customers about Tesla features that they may or may not know existed comparative to other automotive brands. This is huge in my opinion. Tesla has never done any advertising before, and now Elon has said that they will try an advertising campaign. He kind of jokingly said it. He said, well, it looks kind of bad as me as the head of an advertising company, Twitter, to not do any advertising, right? So he will be doing some advertising. And as you can see, this was well received by the bulls today, by investors today, up 4.4%. Big day for Tesla. Number two, he said that on a comparative basis, a Tesla Model 3 is actually cheaper to own and maintain than a Toyota Corolla. That's huge because the Toyota Corolla has long been a benchmark for cheap, reliable, affordable, small cars, right? So they have been the benchmark. And for Elon to put up a slide and say that a Tesla Model 3 is cheaper on a comparative basis than a Toyota Corolla, people in the audience were saying, wow. And that's another thing. Not a lot of people know this. So this is why we need advertising for these facts, right? So very bullish statement in that. That is a great example of Tesla's ability to have pricing power and to cater to consumers at a lower tier price point, right? In the $30,000 to $40,000 price range for a new vehicle. Now, point number three that Elon also mentioned is that he mentioned a lot about FSD and robotics, that they were an industry leader in AI and robotics, which is what everybody knew already. But he did a great presentation of how they were using robotics in their manufacturing processes. But not only that, how they were developing robotic technology to be used for a consumer-facing business. So potentially he might be getting into the business of selling robotics and robots to consumers once they will be refined, right? Very, very, very bullish. A potential future revenue segment for Tesla. Obviously, this is years in the future, but always good to hear. He also hinted at 2 new products that they were designing for the future that will be released under the Tesla brand. A lot of speculation is that this is their lower priced car, potentially in the $20,000 to $30,000 range. So potentially a compact vehicle from Tesla. And another one that nobody pretty much, he didn't give any insight on, but we do have the Cybertruck being rolled out in Q3 of this year. So looking forward to that. So we do have another mystery product that they're working on that he hasn't mentioned yet. So all in all, a lot of very, very bullish news yesterday. Highly recommend you guys watch that. It was very, very interesting. So Tesla bulls, as I said, we cannot lose the 165 area. So anything above 165 will be a daily and weekly higher low, in my opinion, to set a weekly and daily trend change to the upside, and our resistance area remains put at around 179. Now, another stock I wanted to go over is PayPal, right? A lot of people have been asking me about PayPal. So PayPal, the time frame for me is the 1 hour. So as you can see, guys, PayPal, the reason I love PayPal is because they are at the same price as they were back in pretty much 2017, right? So we have no area of support to base off of. When that happens, you have to just wait until sellers are completely exhausted. And the way that you see that, guys, is look at the lows that they've been setting, right? So I'll start on the 4-hour chart, right? So we have a lower low here, lower low, and now lower low. As you can see, it's getting smaller every time. The bears are able to push less and less. So this is pretty much investor capitulation, because obviously a lot of investors will be frustrated at this point that they've been holding PayPal stock for 6 years and nothing's been happening, or that they've been accumulating in this range here for the past year, and sellers have broken it to the downside despite good earnings. Now, it's worth noting here that if you watch my earnings video on PayPal, they're now making twice the amount of revenue. You can't see it, but 2017 was around 13 billion. Last year, 2022 was 27 billion. That is twice the amount of revenue that they were making back in 2017. So the company's grown a lot, but the share price hasn't changed. I am very bullish on PayPal at these levels. As you guys can see, the analyst ratings, even your bear case scenario, right, is pretty much $58. So not too far off from our current price to the downside. The average is significantly higher, around 50% higher, right? 54% to the upside, 94. And the maximum, although that's a bit rich, I would put it more around 110, 115. Still some very, very good upside to PayPal. And as you can see, guys, like we are growing into the next few years. Like look at this revenue growth, right? Look at this EPS growth over the next years. Over the next 4 years, EPS will almost make a double, right? 7. So not quite a double, but obviously around 75% growth on EPS. So very, very good numbers from PayPal. I would not be surprised if we get a significant rally. If you guys remember, the same thing happened to Meta, right? When we dipped and started dropping, this was the point that everybody gave up. You see this? You see this where we kind of smoothed out the drops and kind of started our lower end consolidation here, then just fell through the floor? Well, that's exactly what PayPal just did, right? Consolidated here for a while, fell through the floor. If you look, Netflix was the same thing, right? Smoothed off here, another bad earnings, fell through the floor. And then that was it. Right? Fell through the floor, straight capitulation. And people down here, guys, people were saying this is the end of Netflix. It's going to zero. Not to zero, but you know what I mean. People were saying it's the end for Netflix. People were saying it's the end for Meta, right? And look what happened. So when things get so cheap, right, that they become at multi-year lows, look at Netflix, right? This was multi-year lows, 2017, Meta, 2015, right? As you can see back here, 2015, 16, those prices. So when you get such deep discounts on companies that are still growing, usually you get a bit of mean reversion and you get some upside. So risk to reward, very attractive for me. Time frame to watch out, 1 hour time frame. We were not able to change the hourly uptrend at any point in this drop, aside for today. Look, drop, hourly engulfing, looking to set the hourly higher low compared to our low here at 60.45, tomorrow we'll want to see bulls continue this uptrend to the upside here on the hourly. When the hourly tops out, look how much space the bulls have created on the hourly, because after that, you're looking for an hourly higher low, right? Well, sorry. After the hourly time frame, because it'll look like this, right? After the hourly time frame is done and we consolidate, you'll be looking at that point for a 4-hour higher low, right? So it all depends how much space can the bulls create on the lower time frames. If we can create enough space on the 4-hour time frame that our likely scenario becomes a 4-hour higher low compared to our lows down here, then that's when we look a bit higher for the potential of a daily trend change and to start a larger move. One time frame at a time, guys. Really need to be careful about this, okay? So that's pretty much all the names that I wanted to cover for today's video. If you guys want me to cover more names, like more value names or stuff like that, like maybe some Nike. Nike is a good position that I'm looking to build, that I've been writing some options here in this week on. So as you can see, we're at the lower end of a pretty much 5-6 month range here. Well, not really a range, but just like a general area of price action. So I've been writing some puts down here in the 113 area. That's why I have this line here. 113 to 115 seems to be a really decent area for me, at least, to buy. We do have some nice support here. It has been used as support and resistance in the past, so looking for that to play out. We were pretty much oversold on the 4-hour time frame, which is why I got really interested in this play. Another one is ASO. If you guys don't know this company, they are now trading at a 7 price to earnings. Very good company, growing revenue pretty much. They pulled a lot of revenue forward last year because of the whole coming out of COVID scenario, right? So 2021, they pulled a lot of revenue forward because people were tired of COVID. Everybody went outside, bought sporting gear, camping equipment, stuff like that. And 2022, as you can see, they gave a little bit of that back, but profit margins maintained the same. And we still had a very bullish year compared to our trend here. As you can see on a quarterly basis, we are doing fairly well here. Very, very attractive company, in my opinion, on terms of a valuation. On the weekly time frame here, we were getting daily oversold. That's the first time that happened since pretty much last May. So we were looking at our 200 daily moving average here, which was down here. So I was interested in writing some puts after yesterday's drop in the 55-54 area. So that's a company that I'm looking at right here. If we can set what we're looking to do here, guys, is we are now looking to reverse a weekly new uptrend, right? Because we did, we never really confirmed this weekly downtrend. A confirmation would be something like this, right? So we haven't confirmed it yet. This is just a weekly move down. When you're not sure what it's doing, go one time frame higher. We're looking to set a monthly higher low, right? Looking to set the monthly higher low. Still very, very bullish chart, in my opinion, on the higher time frames. So that's why I'm interested in when we do bottom out down here, right? Right around this potential 200 MA, this is a very good, attractive position, in my opinion, for me. That's why I am playing this one too. So, I play growth, guys. I play your classic tech stocks, but I also have a few gems like this that I'm always looking out for on the value side, right? Because there's opportunities everywhere. So if you enjoyed the video, guys, consider liking it. Consider subscribing. I do these pretty much every day. As I said again, I apologize for Monday and Tuesday. Had a few other things to take care of, but now we're back to pretty much regular programming, not going anywhere for a while. So hope you guys had a good day trading. I love you all, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace.